Hello, this is Mrs. Sturgeon here to talk to you about the zero product property and how to solve a quadratic when it's in factored form using the zero product property. So let's go ahead and start. So the first thing to know about the zero product property is that anytime you are multiplying two numbers together and you get an answer of 0, that means, and you can kind of follow along by looking at the note up here, that means that one of the two numbers has to be equal to 0. So when we're solving a quadratic that's already been factored, by using the zero product property, essentially all you need to do is set both of the factors equal to 0 to account for both of them possibly equaling 0. Okay, so this is how this looks. Let's go ahead and dive into this first example. So all we need to do is set each of these factors. So the factors are the parts that are in the parentheses. So I've got 4x plus 1, set that equal to 0. And then I also have x minus 2, set that equal to 0. Okay, and all I need to do now is the algebra to figure out what does x equal when I do set it equal to 0. So let's get x by itself, subtract 1 from both sides. You get 4x equals negative 1. Divide both sides by 4. You get x equals negative 1/4. You don't need to worry about calculating what that's actually equal to in decimal form. You can just go ahead and leave it as negative 1/4. Okay, then this one's a little quicker. If I add 2 to both sides, you get x equals positive 2. That's my second answer. Okay, let's go ahead and do another one. Okay, so for something like this, again, we've got some factors here. For this one, we actually have 3 sets of factors. We've got this number outside here, that 3. We've got 2x plus 3 as a factor, and we've got x minus 4 as a factor. Now here's the thing. If I take 3 and set it equal to 0, there's really nothing to say about that. There's no x to solve for. There's nothing that I can actually tell about the equation from setting that 3 equal to 0. So I'm going to go ahead and skip the 3. We don't need to solve for x using that 3, so we don't need to set it equal to 0 using zero product property. Let's skip over to the 2x plus 3. 2x plus 3 needs to be set equal to 0, and x minus 4 needs to be set equal to 0. All right, both of those have x's, both of those can be solved, so that's why we need to set them equal to 0 to do so. So let's go ahead, we're going to subtract 3 from both sides. For the first equation, 2x equals negative 3. Divide both sides by 2. You get x equals negative 3/2. That's one of my answers. My other one, if you add 4 to both sides, you get x equals positive 4. All right, so those are my 2 answers. Let's do one more. Okay, so in this case, I have my factor that's in the parentheses, 5x minus 4. And in the last problem, I had just a number 3 outside of the parentheses, and when I set it equal to 0, nothing happened. Now in this case, we have an x outside of the parentheses. So this I could actually solve and get a value, an answer for that factor. So I do need to set both of these factors equal to 0. So basically, if your number in the front, or this would be considered like your already factored out GCF, if it contains an x, set it equal to 0. If it doesn't contain an x, then you don't need to. All right, so now I have 2x equals 0, I have 5x minus 4 equals 0, and all I need to do is solve. Divide both sides by 2 for this one, so we get x equals 0. This one, we're going to add 4 to both sides. You get 5x equals 4. Divide both sides by 5. You get x equals 4/5.